attaining those deadlines through being courageous and not giving up. Uh, so now we're going to be doing this. Has anyone heard of the word chameleon? Yes, no. Do you know what a chameleon is? Yes.
I think it's that animal that changes its color to suit the
Yes.
environment just to hide.
Yes. Okay. Um, so how many of you would be okay to be a chameleon today? Or do you think is it okay to be a chameleon? Ah, kind of. Okay. Um, and okay to be a chameleon means changing your color, changing your character, changing your strengths, changing who you are in different circumstances. So, how many of you think it is okay to change in your circumstances, in your situations? Yes, no, it will depend. Okay. Okay. So, today in India, there is this saying that people change their color, and sometimes, so the older generation doesn't find it very okay and appealing to do, whereas the younger generation thinks it's absolutely okay, right? And how it works in your context is something that I guess you can figure out. But personally, a what do you think stays constant when a chameleon is on a rock, which is gray in color, and on mud, which is brown? Do you think there's anything constant? Or do you think everything changes? You'll have to let me know. It's supposed to be interactive, so I won't know what to say if you guys don't say anything. Do you think there is anything constant with a chameleon? When a chameleon sits on a rock, which is gray in color, and when he sits on mud, which is brown, do you think there's anything constant? No. Okay. No. Okay. Great. Just keep this in mind. Change. Okay. Question mark. Thank you. Just keep this in mind. I want you to think of yourself today in light of being a chameleon. You have thought of some strengths, you've put it in the chat box, you've written it down for yourself, saying what makes me special, what makes me unique. Today, now we're going to be doing this visualization, right? So I'm going to be leading you and giving you some questions. So I'd request you to close your eyes and think of yourself as this chameleon. Think of that one thing, that one strength that you think you have. Now you're the chameleon in your life, in your day to day actions, which is that one strength that you feel you have. Which is that one strength that you feel you have when you are going into your career. So, when you are sitting in a team meeting, visualize the five people with you and think of that one thing that makes you unique. Now, think of this situation where you are with your loved one. This could be a parent, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a husband, a wife, a child, a sibling. And think of that one thing that you feel is unique to you, that one strength that you have when you are having a difficult conversation with them, perhaps. While you're thinking of this, I'm just going to be reading out some strengths for you, and you can pick and choose if you want to think anything is particular to you. You could be calm, you could be respectful, you could be responsible, you could be humble, you could be outspoken, thoughtful, creative, empathetic, motivated, ambitious, cooperative, articulate, resourceful. When you're thinking of these strengths, I want you to see how you use these abilities in your daily life. How do you feel when you use this ability? What have other people said about this ability? Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes, write this down on paper, draw it out, however you feel comfortable. We can take 5 minutes to do that. If and whenever you're comfortable, if you can switch on your cameras and whoever is comfortable, it'll be great to hear what you've thought of and if you're comfortable sharing it with us. Anyone would like to tell us what they've thought of, what they've come up with? Yes, if you're comfortable typing, that's fine. If you like to type and tell us what you've thought of. Anything that you think while you're having a conversation, a difficult conversation with a loved one, you think you're able to do effectively and is your strength to get past that conversation? Anything you like to tell us? Or when you're in a team, within your team at work, what is that one thing that sets you out away from the other four people in your team?
Okay, so maybe I'll try to share my when it comes to work. I think I think I like bringing up new ideas. Yes, so I think it has to do with idea generation
Okay.
and task execution. So I'm usually that person that, especially when there's so much ideas and we can all get carried away with getting new ideas and we don't actually get things done. So I'm actually that person who wants to give you the time. We have time in 10 minutes to work. And what plan do we have? So that's me in a team. And I think that's what makes me unique.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else would like to tell us? Okay, there's one thing in the chat that says, in terms of disability, the perception of people have about it. The thought were one may think they can't do what everyone can. Would you like to explain this a little more, please? So, is it something that you're saying that makes you're able to perceive people and give a conducive environment? Am I understanding that correctly? If you can type yes, no. Okay. Um, So, when we generally ask everyone, and why I'm having this conversation is then when we talk about strengths and specifically in the next 10 years, okay, when we talk about strengths in the next 10 years, we are going to be seeing artificial intelligence taking over most of our work, right? Data analysis is going to happen. Alexa has already reached places. Everything that we thought needed to be done by a human being in terms of knowledge generation, we have Google and we can type something and find the answers very, very quickly. But one strength or one capacity that we are going to be requiring, and it's going to become very, very important, is the aspect of emotional intelligence or the emotional quotient. So, how to have these difficult conversations with people, how to empathize, how to make sure that the task is complete in a conducive way, right? So, it's not about making sure that the task gets complete where everyone is in their worst space. So, I'll read out some strengths to you where we say that being calm, being honest, being focused, cooperative. So, cooperation is going to be one of the biggest strengths that people are going to be looking forward to. Competition is something that is going to come, but only if we are able to cooperate. Communication, being humble, being a team player. So, these are some important strengths that are going to be taking over in the next few years. I hope I am clear. Does anyone have any questions?
I think not yet.
Okay. Um, I also want you to think of this strength, and you can think of this later on, as is it something that I think that I personally think is a strength of mine, or have people also told me that, I am good at this in terms of work? So has it been validated as well? Also, sometimes it's important to see how does this ability of mine contribute to the world. The world doesn't have to be the entire universe, another country, but it can also be that small space that I am part of, my family, my work. So, how am I ensuring that whatever is needing to be completed is completed in a very conducive way, right? And what needs does using this ability satisfy for me? So, like Elizabeth said, that I need to make sure a task needs to be completed. So, she takes up the leadership role and she ensures that she takes it through, right? So, these are the strengths that are going to be becoming even more and more important. So, I'm going to be showing you a short video of has anyone heard of Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence? No. Okay. Okay, so now I'll show you this short video. So Gardner talks about, I'll show you this picture. One second. So Gardner talks about a theory of multiple intelligence, where he says that people sometimes can be called music smart, bodily kinesthetic. So they use their body. So physically, um, physique is their strength. Sometimes it's people smart. So interpersonal skills. Word smart, so communication, writing, those are the kind of jobs that people look at. Logical smart, sometimes data analysis, consultancy work. Nature smart, where through so environmentalists working to make sure nature is intact. Self smart, sometimes people who are very mindful um, come into the self smart space. Visual, spatial, this is called picture smart. So through pictures, uh, they build in, right? I will show you a short video that perhaps will make you understand this even better.
So, when you think of intelligence, you normally think of the one intelligence that most people refer to, and that is intellectual intelligence. And Howard Gardner says there are actually multiple types of intelligence, and I'm going to go through them with this video. Now, the first is called logical mathematical intelligence, and this is basically what you think of when you think of intellectual intelligence. This would be stuff like logic, or if you're good at taking tests, you will probably have pretty high logical mathematical intelligence. This also has to do a lot with critical thinking and making and reading graphs, as well as organization. If you like to organize your stuff and keep it very organized and are good at organizing it, then you probably have very high logical mathematical intelligence. Now, the second one is called verbal linguistic. And if you have high verbal linguistic intelligence, you are probably good at saying that word. You are good at poems, you are good at rhyming words, finding words that rhyme, you are good at reading and writing, and you're good at learning other languages. You learn them pretty quickly compared to other people. And you're probably great at turning a little tiny story into a huge, fascinating story that can enthrall an entire room. The third is interpersonal. And interpersonal intelligence would be like understanding other people's emotions, understanding what the social etiquette and norms are of the situation. You have to be able to be good at reception to other people's moods and what motivates them. If you are a business administrator and you're good at motivating someone, you probably have pretty high interpersonal intelligence. If you're a good leader or just a manager in general, and you can coordinate work with other people, you are probably really intelligent in this interpersonal field. The fourth is body kinesthetic, which means you are good at handling and maneuvering your own body. You can handle objects skillfully and basically move them around however you want them to, as well as your body. People that are very intelligent in the body kinesthetic field are dancers, actors, soldiers, and even many sports athletes. The fifth is musical intelligence, and this is associated with rhythmic and harmonic music. Being able to interpret sounds, rhythms and tones and pitches, and being able to understand them on a level that most people can't understand. If you're good at this, you could probably compose or at least play an instrument. The next is visual spatial, and this is like basically how well can you visualize something in your mind's eye? How well can you think of something in your mind? And another example of this would be how well can you get through a maze? Can you see it in your mind's eye where you're at in the maze or a cornfield? And Gardner went so far as to say that this could even be used as to judging distances, or how well can you read a map? And the next type of intelligence is called intrapersonal intelligence. And this is different from interpersonal intelligence. Intrapersonal intelligence is more about how you understand yourself. Are you self-aware? Do you know what feelings you are feeling, what emotions go through your mind when you are in certain situations? How well can you control your thoughts and actions and feelings in general? Do you know your strengths and weaknesses? And the last, which came out a couple years after Howard Gardner came out with his multiple intelligences theory, is called natural intelligence, naturalistic intelligence. And this has to do with being able to recognize stuff in the real world, basically flowers and trees and anything that's living. Hunters and fishermen are pretty intelligent in the naturalistic field. So are chefs and botanists that can grow plants. And basically anyone that is learned in any biological science is pretty intelligent in the naturalistic field. Anyways, my next video is going to be on how you can improve these, how you can become a better person through improving each one of these single intelligence.
Yeah. So, any questions?
Yes, one question.
Yes.
So I think from the video, I think I am mathematical, logical, and verbal linguistic. But what's interesting, so verbal linguistic, for example, I love using like writing poems and all of that, but I'm not very good with languages. So I don't know if it's possible to have a particular intelligence area and not really have all the traits. Because I'm good with the verbal, but with the linguistic, I'm not too good with learning new languages.
Yeah, so it is possible that you have something can be your strength and something can be um your area of improvement. So it's not necessary that you fit into, like, right now they've broken these up into different aspects just so that you can understand through which aspect you can understand the world better, right? So all of us, I guess, have a certain amount of intrapersonal strength, right? But in terms of the word smart, it might be that in English you might be better than, say, a dialect, right? So it's not necessary that you are the same in all the same languages. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, it does. Thank you.
Also, sometimes it's not, I work a lot with young people and young children. Sometimes it's not about the fact that you are not good at the language, or because the technique of teaching you perhaps might not be the best for you.
That's true. That's true. Because I actually realized I learn it better when I go through a formal course. So I was actually getting better at learning a new language when I started using formal books. But I don't easily pick up when I have to use informal
Okay, can't hear you. I've lost you. Hello? Okay. Anyone else has any questions, any thoughts? I think the network's bad. Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay. Perfect. So, does anyone have any questions in terms of which is my strength? Do I just have one strength or more than one strength? By seeing Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence. Any questions there? Okay. Um, so I'll just like you to think of this for yourself on your own later on, and sharing the screen. So you can maybe do this for yourself later on, saying what is, now that you know that strengths could be possibly in Gardner's theory in these 4 5 different ways. Which are the strengths that you have? Maybe think of 3 of these strengths and how you can work to improve them, and what you could start doing to use these more in your day to day activities, right? I'll be sharing a link for feedback if that's okay. I'd love to hear from you all. So I'll just put it in the chat box. And this is, I just at the end of it like to say thank you all. And I use this a lot, saying you are the writer of your life. We aid you in choosing the color of ink you wish to write your story with. So you already have the strengths that you need. Just need to figure out which would be the best way to take it forward, right? So thank you all for listening. In case any of you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Vriti. Did, do I pronounce your name right?
Yes, right.
Oh, great. All right. Thank you so much. I think this is like our first um, virtual experiential session. And I can't imagine how also probably difficult it was for you. I've done a few experiential exercises with people, and I didn't know how that was going to be possible doing it virtual. But I would say that you've been very, very skillful in it. I personally enjoyed the session. I don't know about the others. Guys, any questions? So we'll come to the questions and answers session. And if there are any questions, please try to speak up now. Yeah, please try. Oh, great. So nice, nice, nice. There's a feedback form available to for us to fill, and Vriti just posted it on the chat box. So if you could please do it now that we're online, so you don't lose the link, or save the link if you know you want to do it after. Okay. So whilst I'm waiting for any possible question from others, what question would I ask? Okay. So I realized for the 8 multiple intelligences, is it possible for someone to have more than I personally think probably it's ideal to have like top 3 intelligences. Do you think it's possible for some people to have more than 4?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's possible to have a little bit of all the 8 as well, but there would be something that is a dominant one, right? So one of them might be more active in your day-to-day life. So, like you said, perhaps being word smart, linguistic could be something where you are more active, and whereas the one with data or being with nature might be a little less. So, it's absolutely possible, but some of them might be more dominant, and some of them might, because of the context that we are part of, sometimes we might not get the opportunity to actually use them. So, we wouldn't know how and where we are in them.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Any more questions? Anyone has anything? You can feel free to reach out to me personally as well, in case you like. I can share my details, or you can let Elizabeth or Rachel know. Thank you, Rachel, for sharing that. I'll just share. We have a WhatsApp group. Perhaps if you were interested, you can join that. Uh, and you can feel free to get in touch with me. Thank you so much for. I shared all the handles here. In fact, I have a QR code. Maybe if anyone wants to scan that, I'll just share that with you. Yeah, so this is the QR code. Maybe if you'd like, you can scan it and you can feel free to get in touch with us.
Great. Sorry, I lost connection there. I think
No.
that the network is a bit bad. Okay. So there were no further questions, I guess. All right. Yeah, so I was trying to ask that when we have from your experiences with kids, what do think you think a person's intelligence area plays a large role in their learning style? So is it very likely that people learn best when they are approached through their intelligence area?
Um, that's true, actually. So there are various different research studies that talk about it in different contexts. But as part of what I have worked and how I have worked with students over the last 10 years, yes, you when you make the environment conducive for them to learn, right? So even if you are just giving them space to do things and listen to them, that helps a lot. But yes, if you give them their preferred learning style, so there could be some children who are more inclined towards nature instinctively, right? So if you give them an activity, so if you're teaching them a science project through nature, they will typically learn it much faster than maybe making them sit and read in a book about this is how photosynthesis happens. So that does happen, definitely.
Now, thank you very much. I think those are all the questions I have now.
Okay.
Also, at this point, thank you all so much for being part of this. We'll just quickly, so Rachel would launch a poll. So this one is just to evaluate um, the Zoom session. So this session, Rachel, are you able to launch the poll? And Rachel will also give us um, a vote of thanks that if she is in a conducive place now. Rachel, would you be able to do that? Okay, I'm unable to land the poll. Okay, no problem. Okay, great. All right, so Rachel is giving us our vote of thanks.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you so much, Ruthie, for this insightful session. I was in town, but I was able to pick up a few, and it has been very amazing. Thank you so much for wanting to be part of this. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us, and we hope to have you again sometime. And thank you all who joined. Those who joined and left, thank them too. So okay, see you next week, same time, 6 p.m. It was 5 p.m. today because of the time differences, but we have it next week at 6 p.m. So anticipate. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Vriti. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.